When I was in my abusive relationship, I never understood why I could have so much fun and be so in love with him and kind of ignore all the abusive things that he did to me. And then I would turn around and go talk to my best friend and tell her how unhappy I was and how badly he treated me and how much I wanted to leave. And then I would go back and spend time with him, and it was like nothing was wrong. I would not tell him that I was unhappy with what he was doing. I would totally hide it. This phenomenon is called splitting. It doesn't have a very good name. I almost want to call it light switch self. It is the sense that I can have two versions of myself that are not integrated. They literally don't know each other. And I operate in those depending on who I'm talking to. And why do I have this non-integration? It's because I want to keep the relationship, or I want to keep my attachment to this thing, but the truth is getting in the way. And so I have to split myself into versions that compartmentalize the truth so that I can engage with the abusive relationship and I can engage with my friends, and I have two different truths. Splitting is a well-known phenomenon in dysfunctional relationship dynamics. It tracks back to not having a fully integrated concept of someone, so having trouble understanding that someone is a whole person who can have good side and bad side. Instead, it's more like when you are behaving well, I love you, and when you are behaving badly, I don't like you, and I can feel victimized by you. This is also why traumatized people can stay in these relationships for longer, because more integrated people would have a relationship with the truth, and the truth would ruin their ability to interact with the abuser. The light switch self is responsible for so many different relationship dynamics. It's part of our developmental process where we were learning, I'm human and I can do good things and I can do bad things and I'm still good and I'm still human. But because we didn't fully learn that, we ended up in shame, which says there are good and bad and there is no human. You're either superhuman or you are less than human. So we ended up with the ability to see everything as two things, the good version and the bad version. And this has really crappy implications because it means that we can be abused and on some level believe that we deserve it because we are not human. And we can victimize other people because on some level we believe that when they are being bad, they are not human. The releasing of shame allows us to bring everyone, including ourselves, into wholeness, to believe that everyone is human, everybody deserves good treatment. And you'll say to me, I'm an empath. I already believe all this stuff. I don't victimize people. You're probably stuck in the good person side of that spectrum. And if you are, you're probably a perfectionist and you always try to do everything perfectly so that you can earn your worth. And people do this healing work all the time. They just don't tend to write books or talk about it. To really come to the realization as a result of an abusive relationship that you must have a more integrated relationship with the truth. And as a result of that, not having two versions of everybody and not having two versions of yourself. And you can see those two versions from the very beginning of the relationship because you have this idealized version of the person when you first start dating them. And you kind of see them as your obsession object and the person who can solve all your problems. That is just the flip side of the split. So if you want to observe yourself getting into a dysfunctional relationship from the very beginning, look for that fantasy idealized pedestal type behavior. And equally look out for people who want to put you on a pedestal. Your low self-esteem is going to love it, which makes it really hard to say no to those relationships. But they are rooted in a light switch.